They're doing this to me on purpose, aren't they? Caps lose 4-2 to the... I swear to God, I've done this video before. Caps lose 4-2 to the Los Angeles Kings. Why? 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 So this is their third regulation loss in a row, which hasn't happened since November 2014 when Barry Trotz first became head coach of the Washington Capitals. I don't really know what to say about this game, so I'm... Sorry. Just got a text from my dad. I don't really even know what to say about this game, so I'm just gonna go through really quick and then I'm gonna talk about some stuff. So Jacob Vrana scores fairly early in the first for the Caps, but then Marian Gaborik scores for the Kings and ties it up, and we end the first period tied 1-1. So TJ Oshie scores early in the second, but then the Kings tie it up again with a goal from Jeff Carter. Now, between these two goals, Kevin Shattenkirk gets a delay of game penalty, and he takes his frustration out while being in the box by putting his gloves on the ground and stabbing at them with the shaft of his stick. Now, after the Kings tie it up again, there's a scuffle, and to no one's surprise, Tom Wilson is involved. Not that it really matters, because the period still is tied 2-2. Then Adrian Kempe scores another goal for the Kings in the third. It's the first of his NHL career, so congrats to him, because that's actually pretty cool. Then Shattenkirk gets a charging penalty, which I will get to in a minute. Then there's less than 2 minutes left in the game, and the Caps go empty net, which almost never works. Then Evgeny Kuznetsov gets a slashing penalty with 34 seconds to go, and at this point I'm thinking I might as well turn off the game because we all know how this is gonna end. But because I love suffering so much, I don't turn off the game, and Jeff Carter whips in an empty net, and the Kings beat the Caps, and for the third time in a row, the Caps lose a game with a score 4-2, and I go to bed after 1 o'clock in the morning, sad and disappointed. Now, to talk about some stuff. Because here's the thing, it's not like the Caps played exceptionally bad, and it's not like they played bad against San Jose either. So let's talk now about Shattenkirk's charging penalty. Now, at the time that I'm recording this, he has already had a hearing and has been suspended for 2 games, his first ever suspension. Now, I was a bit surprised about the verdict, not because he was suspended, but because it was 2 games. Now, I had a discussion with my dad about it the morning of the hearing, and I thought that he would get suspended, but I thought because he has no history of infractions, that he would only be suspended 1 game. I was thinking 2 games was like worst case scenario. But apparently we reached worst case scenario. So this does mean something though. It means Nate Schmidt's return to the lineup, which I wanted, but not like this. But some other stuff came out of this game too. For one, Barry Trotz shuffled the lines a bit, and the new top 6 was a monster when it came to possession. Not so much for scoring, but that's a work in progress. The new bottom 6, however, was lacking, to say the least, and all I can really say about that is, boy, are the Washington Capitals missing having Andrei Burakovsky on that 4th line. Other things to think about. Alex Ovechkin hasn't scored now in 10 games, and while I'm personally not particularly worried, I bet the dude's feeling the pressure. But he's not the only goal scorer on the team, so the team's success or failure does not ultimately rest squarely on him. And we can say that in the last few games, his shots on goal have gone up tremendously. Now, so the team is on a losing streak, sure, but they're still first in the Metro and in the league. Also, they are playing in another time zone where games are ending at 1 o'clock in the morning, and that does have an effect. Especially with daylight savings happening and the loss of an hour there. Now, this year's roster is arguably the strongest they have ever been, and that doesn't change just because they've lost a few games in a row. So, just some things to think about, and also a reminder, I love the Washington Capitals.